Hi girls, in today's class we are going to continue with the procedure involved in the startup of small scale industries. So in the last class we had seen till arrangement of land. So now we will continue with the next step, okay, in starting up your small scale industry. So the next step is to arrange for plant and machinery. Yeah, so you got to arrange or make all possible facilitation in order to arrange for your plant and machineries. So we are going to see under this particular point some various subheadings. First one is arrangement of building. Okay, so you need to get permission from the building layout, okay, which needs to be taken from the gram panchayat or municipal. This gram panchayat is when your location that you have chosen for your building is going to be in village limits, okay, municipality or town or country planning department or the urban development authority. So you get to take permissions in order to set up your building from there. The next one is proceed to plant and machinery. So you also need to get some kind of approvals for your plant and machinery, which has to be taken from the Department of Factories or Boilers. Okay, so this is again the clearance from this particular authority in order to utilize your plant and machinery or equipment. Next one is raw materials. So the explanation which is given under raw material is something which is wrong. Okay, rather it is not. It's the explanation that is given for power is repeated. So raw material, again you need to arrange for your raw material and take the permits to utilize the raw material from the particular authority. Okay, whoever is the concerned authority, you have to take permits from them. Then the next one is power. So you also need to get permission, okay, to use the power from the state electricity board, and also you need to get the approval, okay, from the captive generation if it is needed. Then other than that, it's also you also need to enter into agreements with the private power producers. Supposing the state electricity board is not going to supply you with enough electricity, then you have to arrange for your private electricity, for which you have to enter into contracts with the private electricity boards. Okay, the next one is water. So water, first you're going to decide whether it's going to be your own captive source or rather public source or state government's authority or rather it is a state irrigation department. So it depends on the usage of the water. If it's going to be bulk and all that, you really need to approach the state irrigation department in order to use the bulk consumption of water, because all this belongs to the public property. Okay, it is all under the government and it is the public property, so you cannot utilize it. And as far as the industries are concerned, they are all going to use be it electricity or water in bulk. Then these are post implementation clearances or approvals that you need to get. General, okay. Next one is NOC from APPCB. It's basically the pollution control board. So whichever state you belong to, from that particular state, you need to get the pollution control board no objection certificate from them. The next one is registration and license under Factories Act has to be received. Okay, the next one is clearance from the electricity inspectorate. Then letter of intent from distilleries and bureaus. Supposing you are a producer of alcohols, okay, like spirits or other kind of alcohols, you need to take permits or letter of intent from this particular authority, distillery or brewery. So distillery is all about spirits and brewery is all about your beer manufacturing. The registration under milk and milk products order. So milk, if you are the producer of milk and milk products, okay, so then you got to take permission from that particular authority. Then the next one would be mining and quarry lease. Okay, in case you are an industry who's up to mining, okay, extensive digging of the land in order to possess and manufacture various goods, okay, that which is naturally found in the environment. Quarry is all about this. You would have heard of these big stones and marbles and all that. So that is quarried. So if you are going to be a producer of such products, you have to avail it on lease, and those kind of properties will never be given again. It's belonging to public property, so it only can be leased out, okay, and used for a certain period of time. So for the same, the next one is registration with the central excise department. This is regarding your tax. Then sales tax department and commercial taxes department. The next one is provident fund registration and ESI registration. Okay, so all this is to provide some sort of medical insurances and medical facilities for your this thing, okay, for your employees. So all this has to be done. The next one is your hire purchase. Okay, so the hire purchase scheme of NSIC. Okay, the entrepreneur should avail, okay, some sort of benefits. If supposing you are not having your machineries or equipments on your own, if you want to purchase them on hire purchase, then you have to get permits and also benefits from this particular authority. The technology section, so technology also needs to be taken into consideration. So once the product is selected, next thing is to decide on the technology that which you're going to use, whether it's going to be imported or whether it's going to be the indigenous technology. From the concerned authority you need to take the permits. Then next one we are going to go for arrange for infrastructure. Okay, so you also need to arrange for the infrastructure. So where okay, so clearances for various infrastructural facilities have to be done. So where you have to facilitate the land and land related matters. Okay, so setting up industries, you need to take the clearance and permits from them. And then it also these clearances will also enable you to avail various other facilities, like it also assists the entrepreneur in obtaining various clearances from the uh, central government and its agencies. Okay, then you also need to attend all the inquiries, okay, relevant to law, the legal proceedings and the practices. This is to see to that your industry is going to abide by all the legal rules and regulations. And then various other clearances and approvals for investment purpose, okay, from the state by the entrepreneur has to be received. Okay, along with that also the entrepreneur should have an interface, okay, with the industrial association and government and boards and other authorities, for which he has to go and register himself. So he has to be a part of certain associations by default when he is an entrepreneur. So he has to take part in that those kind of associations in order to avail certain facilities and be a part, isn't it, for the earth of those associations, for which he also has to take an initiative to have an interface with them. Then land related decisions have to be done. Okay, so wherein you have to decide, while deciding on the land, so several decisions are to be taken. And also you have to decide on the various amenities like power, water, okay, road, rail, and the prices for the same of the land, and all that has to be taken into consideration and decided. Then you should also get the required utility connections like water supply, power supply, okay, from the public authorities. You need to get the supply connections. Okay, that is about arrangement of infrastructure. The next one we are going to is for to prepare the project report. So this is also something which is very very important. So project report is nothing but it's a document, okay, which is going to be prepared. The project report will contain certain information. Alright, so a project report is something which is very very important, and it has to be submitted in various to the various authorities while you are proceeding for the implementation of your business. Alright, so these are certain information which has to be added, or it should be contained in your project. So let's see what are those. First one is land and building, that which is required. Okay, so relevant information regarding land and building, and the manufacturing capacity per annum should be made a mention. Manufacturing procedure in detail should be described, and then machinery and equipment along with what were the prices and what is the specification of the machinery and equipment should be made a mention in your project report. The requirements of your raw material should be made a mention, and how you are going to procure it, what is your source, all that. Then power and water required, and what is the source from where you are acquiring. Then the manpower needs, whether you want skilled, unskilled, semi-skilled laborers, what is the need of the manpower. Then what are your marketing strategies, marketing schemes, all that you are going to make a mention. And then the cost of the project and the product. Okay, approximately you got to make a mention. And then financial analysis and economic viability of the project has to be done. Okay, so where you've done your feasibility studies, is it, and showing that your project is viable enough, profitable enough. So details about that also should be made a mention. So keeping it or keeping all these okay points in mind, the project report has to be prepared, because a project report is something which is very very important, and it has to be submitted to various authorities for various approvals and what to say, grants and permits. The next procedure is to apply and obtain the finance. Very very important. So your only your project reports, your business plans, all that needs to be submitted. Okay, so we'll go in sequence as to how you will apply and obtain your finance. See, you will need different types of finances. Maybe it could be long term or medium term loans, or it could be a shorter working capital requirement. It might be a risk capital need, or rather it can be a seed capital or marginal money. And bridge loans. Bridge loans are to gap the fill up the gaps. Okay, like for example, when the company has already issued shares, and if it cannot issue shares for the next 5 years, and in the meanwhile, if it is running short of finance, then it can always apply for bridge loans. The next one is how and where you can apply. So these are the certain banks which can enable you to avail financial facilities. First one is from commercial or rural or cooperative banks. And then also there are specific banks like SIDBI, Small Industries Development Corporation, Development Bank of India, sorry. Then SFCs, State Financial Corporations, SIDCs, State Industrial Development Corporations. These are all specifically set up for encouraging industry. So you can approach these financial institutions and get. But today any commercial bank is providing in the name of merchant banking. Okay, loans. Then these are certain documents that which you need to provide, okay, in order to get the avail the loan. One is document for loan application, okay, the application. The next one is the balance sheet and profit and loss statements for 3 consecutive years. This is when you are already on industry, set up industry, existing industry. Then the income tax assessment certificates, and then proof of the possession of the land and building, your title deed to the property. Then what, if at all you're going for construction, then what is the architect's estimate of the construction cost? Okay, if you need money for finance for construction of the building. Then other than that, your partnership deed or memorandum of association or articles of association, this is in case you are a partnership firm, this is in case you are a joint stock company. Then the project report, see I told you how important the project report is. Then the budgetary quotations of plant and machinery. So all this you need to submit, because these are the areas where you will require your financial support. So this has to be made a mention in order to apply for your finance. Then this is the last step. You are going to proceed to implement. See in your textbook, obtaining a final clearances, is I have already covered in the clearances, obtainment of clearances. So under that topic I have covered this. So you can keep this as the last point. Proceed to implement. So you are going to now practically implement your project. So all sorts of preparation is done. So right from your finance to your building to your infrastructural facilities, and then the raw material, the production, everything is ready. Now it's time to implement the same. First thing is you are going to construct the shed. Okay, when you are going to implement, construct the shed, and then you are going to fully construct your entire building, and along with that arrange for all the facilities like water, drainage, power, everything is should be made arranged in that particular building. The next one is you have already procured the machinery, you are going to install all the machineries inside. So when you are going to procure the machinery, it is you need to take some kind of permits from the National Small Industries Corporation. Okay, the next one is hiring a human resource. So now you are going to hire the people required to work for your organization. Okay, so wherein you are going to see whether you need skilled, semi-skilled or unskilled laborers. Accordingly, you are going to hire, and you are going to place the employees. The next one is you are going to arrange for raw material. Okay, so test all the samples of the raw materials, and decide that you are going to use this particular raw material only. And then you are also lastly going to prepare the marketing strategy. So once your production is done, you got to market your products, isn't it? Bring about familiarity. Otherwise, doing all this is at the end of the day is of no use if you are not going to bring about familiarity about the product and do some sort of publicity. So for which you have to take certain initiatives and do the promotional strategies that which is needed for your organization, so that you would be able to promote your product, position your product, and promote your product and create your own marketing platform. Okay, a place for you in the market, so that you would be able to sell your products well. So these are all the various procedures that which is involved in the startup of a small scale industry. So once you're done with all this, now you become a company which has come into existence. Alright, so the same thing will continue as you are going to continue with the line of products or the range of products that which you are going to come up newly with. So once you have all come into existence, possibly the further running of the concern will not take you lot of efforts. Okay, so you need to only concentrate on how to start off with your production, how to do the marketing, how to sell your products, and how to satisfy your employees and continue your organization in the long run. Is that clear, girls? So this particular topic has technically taught you all how to start a small scale concern. Okay, so what are technically the procedures, the various steps that which is involved in the startup of a small scale industry. The knowledge is being imparted. So when you are really wanting to start an industry, possibly if you keep in mind all these concepts, you can be a successful entrepreneur. Is that clear, girls? So with this topic, your procedure involved in the startup of small scale industry has come to an end. So like I told you, this is a 14 marker. It can be asked what are the steps involved in the startup, or what is the procedure involved in starting a small scale industry. Anything asked, you can go ahead writing this answer, but try to put down the points and concise your answer, keep it short, because if you go ahead writing, for all 3 hours you can sit and write this topic, but then please be smart enough in timing your paper and writing it, because many times when this particular question arises in the question paper, what happens is girls end up spending a lot of money, more than an hour, writing this particular answer. Don't do that. Okay, so please type your paper, concise it, and give it all the points. Okay, but explanation, keep it very very short. So like I told you, this particular answer should fit in for you within 3 pages. That is all 2 sides. Okay, so 3 pages you have to fully, that is 6 sides, you can fill it up, and that is more than sufficient. If you can really write fast, you can still continue, but then keep your time limit. Is that clear, girls? So this is an important topic. Please do not, exempt from studying this topic. Go through all the points and remember it in the form of points, so that it will be easy for you to score. Alright? Thank you.